I'm Faye Chappell, and this is Sunday Spark. This is your antidote to stale business thinking. Yes, today we're talking about a secret weapon the most hyper productive gurus totally ignore. And what is it? It's the ROI of Awe. How big picture thinking can break you out of a creative rut and inspire your next big move. Hey there, welcome to the Sunday Spark, where we ditch those Sunday scaries and ignite some serious inspiration before the work week. I'm Faye Chappell, your semi-sassy guide and the founder of the Regeneration Company, and I'm here to help you crush burnout, brainstorm big ideas, and remember that success should actually feel good. So grab your coffee, strap in, and let's spark some insight. And no, I'm not about to tell you to go hug a tree, unless that's your thing. We're talking about awe as strategic business tool. Yes, using awe as a strategic business tool. It's that feeling that pulls you out of the day-to-day grind and forces you to see the bigger picture, sparking the kind of breakthrough ideas that don't happen when you're just literally staring at a Trello board or a Gantt chart or anything like that. So, let's talk about why a head down, grinded out focus can be the single biggest blocker to true innovation, and the surprising science of how experimenting with awe and experiencing awe can actually make you more creative and make you a more effective leader. Right? We'll talk a little bit about some practical exercises like the cosmic zoom out, one of my favorites, and maybe some inspiration and inputs that you can actually use to break up any ruts that you're really coming into for this week. So, if you're ready to trade your tunnel vision for really a panoramic perspective, one that could change your business, well, then let's get started. So, entrepreneurs are really wired to focus on the problem that's right in front of them, right? The bug in the code, the client who's unhappy, the cash flow crunch. We use a microscope, but sometimes you really need a telescope. And I had a client, we'll call him Stuck Steve, who ran a successful project management software company. But he was completely stuck. He was trying to add more and more and more features, and he made that product so bloated and complex because that's what he thought his customers wanted. He was in that feature added arms race, right? I'm sure many of you have been in it. And that's with when you're looking at your competitors. Oh, they've added this feature, we should do it. Guess what? He was losing and he was burnt out and totally uninspired. So, on a whim, he took his kids to a science museum. And in that space exhibit, looking at the model of the solar system, he was struck by that elegant simplicity and that mind-blogging scale of all of it, right? It was awe. And in that moment, in that specific moment, he realized he wasn't in the business of adding features. He was in the business of creating clarity and order out of chaos. So he went back to his office, he scrapped half of that planned new feature list he had, and he refocused. He refocused his entire team on one thing, making their software the most intuitive, simple, and elegant solution on the market. So they started removing complexity, right? Not adding to it. And that result, well, the customer satisfaction skyrocketed, right? Churn decreased, and they found a powerful new marketing message that set them apart because he used awe to find his true north. So, what's our key takeaway here? Well, when you're stuck in the weeds, the solution is rarely more weeds, right? You have to lift your gaze. You have to look at the bigger picture, the bigger problem, the bigger system, a bigger idea. The perspective you gain can redefine the problem that you actually thought you were solving. And it doesn't really stop with our entrepreneurs, right? Because in the corporate world, awe and wonder are often the first casualties of corporate, of the tyranny of the quarter. Everyone is so focused on hitting that quarter's numbers that there's no space. There's no space for expansive, long-term, mission-driven thinking, right? I saw a sales team that was deeply demoralized with one of my clients, right? And they sold a complex medical device. It's just really tricky, and they are bogged down in quotas and paperwork and internal competition, and they had lost their why they were doing it. And so a new director came in, and that's who I came in with. A new director came in, and instead of just pushing them harder on the numbers, right? Instead of that, they dedicated one of their quarterly meetings to the big picture. That's where I was brought in, right? And so it was to try to establish a little bit bigger knowledge of everything that was going on around them. So she brought in a patient into this actual meeting, and their life had been dramatically improved by the device. And she showed them research about the future of their medical field and the massive global problems that were part of really the things that they had to solve. So she had them brainstorm not how to sell more units, but what is the future we are trying to build. And that energy shift was palpable, right? They reconnected with really the impact that their work was having, and they felt part of something vast and important, and they renewed their sense of purpose and awe in their mission. And that translated directly into more authentic and passionate conversations with clients, and yes, their sales numbers followed. So that is a lesson for you if you are a leader. Your team is starving for meaning. They are constantly getting a diet of spreadsheets and KPIs, and that leads to burnout. So occasionally you must lift their gaze right up into the horizon and remind them of awe-inspiring why behind the what. It doesn't just fall there. How about you? The busy professional, right? You intentionally cultivate this strategic awe without needing a trip to a museum or a full day offsite, right? You can hack your perspective. That's what you want, right? You want to be able to say, I cultivate strategic awe, because it really does help you. So let's take a look at some ways we can do that. There's one that I like, which is called the 5-year test. And when faced with a stressful problem or a creative block, I want you to ask yourself, in 5 years, will I even remember this specific issue? This simple question makes you zoom out your timeline, right? It instantly reduces that perceived magnitude of that current stressor, right? And it frees up a lot of mental space. So really take the time to try this out. And then schedule inspiration inputs, right? You can schedule meetings and tasks. Why not schedule an inspiration? Why don't you block 30 to 60 minutes a week in your calendar for what I like to call awe input, right? Your only job is to consume something mind expanding, a great documentary, think like Cosmos or Planet Earth, or a virtual tour of world-class art, right? Anything, a gallery, a podcast with massive scientific breakthroughs. Feed your brain big ideas that make you awe, that make you go, wow, this makes sense, this is what I need to bring in. And then finally, let's do something called what I call the reverse telescope exercise. That's a good name. So instead of looking at your competitors, look at the industries completely unrelated to yours. So how does, for example, a Michelin star restaurant handle customer experience? How does a Formula One team manage logistics, right? Applying lessons from completely different awe-inspiring fields can actually spark some incredible innovation in whatever you are doing. So the mindset tool that I like to use is what I like to call is the observer persona. So when you're stuck, you adopt that persona of a visiting anthropologist from another planet. So if you just step back and look at your business, your team, your problem, as if you're seeing it for the first time, what would you find fascinating? What would seem strange or inefficient? This detachment, it really can create a sense of wonder, and it can reveal obvious solutions that you were way too close to see. You know how we sometimes say, if we write something, we have to give it to somebody else to read because you can't read your own writing? This is the same kind of thing. We want you to take a step back, right? And then one final little tip is what I call awe on the go. That's my favorite. So change your phone's lock screen and your computer's wallpaper to a picture that genuinely inspires awe in you. Maybe it's a photo of the galaxy, right? Or a mountain range or a powerful piece of art. It's that micro dose of perspective every time you look at your screen. You are in awe of the world around you, the universe around you, and how you and your problem are a small part. Let's look at the big picture, right? There's a great quote that says, "The world is a kaleidoscope, and the varied combinations of colors which it presents are really beautiful moments of a mind at peace." And it's a lovely thought because for most of us in business, our kaleidoscope is just filled with different shades of gray spreadsheets. Awe is about intentionally grabbing that kaleidoscope, shaking it up, and looking through it to see those brilliant, game changing patterns that you were missing while you were counting those gray bits. So, all right, time to get out of those weeds. Here's your action plan for cultivating strategic awe for this week. So, pick one, just one, and do it. One, schedule 30 minutes of awe input. So, block it in your calendar. Watch the documentary, listen to the symphony, discover something that makes you go, wow. Or take a 15-minute awe walk. Go outside with the only goal of looking for something that is vast or intricate or surprising. No podcasts, no calls, just look around your space. Number 3 is apply the 5-year test to your biggest stressor, right? Take your current number 1 work stress and ask the 5-year question. Journal on the perspective that you gain. Number 4, there's another option, is practice the observer persona. Spend just 10 minutes looking at a stubborn problem as if you were a curious anthropologist from another planet. And what do you notice? What do you notice? And then finally, I want you to share your wonder, because what's one thing that blew your mind recently that might blow someone else's? Share it here in the comments, share it in LinkedIn, share it in our group. If you're part of our group, go for it. Go to Mastermind City. Just share what inspires you that might inspire someone else. Remember, don't just solve the problem in front of you. Make sure you're inspired by the horizon that you're building towards it. I'm Faye Chappell. Thanks for sparking with me this week. Well, you've just had your Sunday spark. How's that for a power-packed start to the week? If you're ready for more tips, laughs, and let's get real moments, be sure to subscribe and share this podcast with all of your friends and your crew. Got questions, insights, or just want to say hey? Well, head over to my website, fayechappell.com, or any of the social media feeds, and I will be with you there. Until next time, keep that spark alive, and remember, your best life doesn't just happen, you have to create it.